2, 1. What up, everyone? Welcome back to the second episode of the APAC Podcast. I'm LJ. I'm your historian for this year. My pronouns are he, him, his.
Hello, everyone. I'm Matt Park. I am the treasurer for APAC, pronouns he, him, his.
Hello, everyone. I'm Christine Angie. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am a PR marketing co-chair.
Hi, I'm Janelle. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am the PR marketing co-chair of APAC.
Hello, I'm Eliza. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm the secretary of APAC.
For sure. So, following our first episode, how are you guys feeling about podcast stuff? I feel like we got a really good reception from our first episode. What you guys think?
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Thanks for continuing watching. Yeah, we can't do this without y'all.
I liked our first episode. I feel like there's something we could have touched upon, but it might take the whole episode, TBH. We talked about like our experiences in high school, but I'm curious about dating experiences because it's a whole new thing. I do have a certain question about this. Did y'all parents ever do like the whole no boyfriend till college thing?
Or girlfriend.
Or girlfriend, yeah.
Or girlfriend.
True.
I
Yeah,
think parents kind of frowned upon it, but like, you know, it was whatever I wanted to do.
yeah, my parents are always like, no dating. They always had weird thoughts about it. I remember they didn't want me to date till college. And then I told them that like I was interested in this guy and I was only 16 and they were like, oh, can you wait till you're 18? Little did they know I was already dating him and it was just a little like segue into it.
Mm-hmm. I feel that. For me, my dad, he did this weird thing where he said, oh, Matthew, you're not allowed to date until you're 19 and a half. I'm like, 19 and a... That's just a weird age. Like, they didn't even say college. He's like, oh, you gotta get to school, focus on studies for like a year and a half. I'm like,
Yeah, he wanted you second semester to start dating.
yeah,
Be good after that.
yes, but I wasn't fully following that rule all of high school. I was dating a girl for a year, and then I told them after our 1-year anniversary had passed, and they took it pretty well, actually, all things considered.
That's pretty cool. Well, I'm glad that everyone's kind of experiences was positive. Christine, what's your experience?
I can't really think of anything specific. My mom and I just didn't really talk about that. It was kind of just like an underlying thing. It's like, let's just not talk about it. It'll come when it comes. And it was fine because the first guy I dated was a Filipino boy, so she kind of had some bonus points with it. So it was I'm curious, like, do y'all parents care like what ethnicity or race y'all date?
Low-key, like for mine, yeah. Cause like sometimes I bring on like some women that are from different like, you know, cultures, and then low-key, like my mom would say, imagine if you bring home a Filipino chick. But I mean, it's like to be expected, you know, just preference.
For me, whenever I told my mom that I was like interested in someone, her first question was always, are they Asian? Are they Filipino? So she never outwardly expressed like, oh, I don't want you dating this race, but I could tell she had a preference for Filipino boys.
I feel like all your parents were probably a little more strict than mine. I'm more similar to Christine. Like, we didn't really talk about it. Like, it would come up when it comes up. And when I did actually have my first like boyfriend, I was just sort of like, yeah, I have a boyfriend. And they just kind of rubbed it off. They're like, okay. And then I never really took him home because I didn't really feel comfortable taking him home. So I don't know if I would call it a boyfriend. So they probably like, they knew beforehand, like they knew that it wasn't going to last just because of how I approached it.
Yeah, for me, yeah, I don't think my parents really have an issue with like race because my first girlfriend was black, so they really didn't. I don't think they had any misgivings about that, but I think my grandparents probably would have. My dad would always be like, "Oh, is she coming to, you know, Thanksgiving or Christmas?" And he'd be like, "Just watch her around your grandparents. They might be a little less hospitable." I'm coming from a generation where they're very traditional. Koreans are always with Koreans in their generation, and it kind of rubbed off on my parents and my uncles and my aunts because they all ended up marrying another Korean person. And they're always hinting to me like, oh, we think you're going to end up with a nice Asian girl. I'm like, oh, we'll see. I I plan on dying alone, but all right, that's cool.
Matt. So Matt, since you said that, that reminded me of an article I read on Psychology Today called Asian Dating, and the quote was, traditional Asians pride themselves on their marriages, families, children, and continuation of the family lineage. So when their sons/daughters begin dating someone they don't approve of, it's going to be a difficult process, end quote. So I was wondering, like, do y'all think like family approval is like super crucial when it comes to the relationship, especially knowing that like sometimes like they do care about like, you know, like the traditional dating within the race?
I think like for me, like one of the qualifications I look for in a partner would be like if she is like compatible with my culture and like my family. That's always one thing, you know. It's all about like, you know, family over here. So like I want to see like if that works. But I want to hear what you guys think.
I think for me, I definitely care about my parents' approval, and it's really hard because they don't like me dating in the first place. So it's sometimes I feel uncomfortable bringing like him around the home, which kind of sucks because I would love for him to have a good relationship with my parents, but I also feel like my parents are kind of closed off about having someone new anyway, but they also do want me to get married, so it's just a messed up type of mindset that I don't really understand.
It's like the joke where it's like no dating until you get married. That type of issue.
Yeah, for me, I mean, approval would be nice, but it's not really mandatory, I guess. At the end of the day, it's up to like me, who I'm gonna end up being with, not really theirs. They could always, I guess, have their own secret opinions about the person that I'm with, but I don't think that'll ever really have an extreme impact on how I view my partner.
I definitely agree with that. I feel like it shouldn't be, your family's approval shouldn't be the most important thing. Like, it really just matters if you like the person and they like you too. But it definitely makes things easier if your family does sort of approve the first time they meet your significant other. Like, it definitely makes it easier in the future to just like bring them home for dinner and stuff like that.
Makes Christmas and Thanksgiving a little more comfortable. Yeah.
Exactly.
True. So based on that, I'm curious, has anyone here actually like, well, Matt, you said it, but like had interracial relationships? And if so, I'm just curious, like, how is that? Like, how's like the culture difference? Do y'all share the culture, whatever?
I guess I'll start. Like I said, my first girlfriend was black. I never really brought her over because, well, my parents didn't know she existed until a year in, and that was a sore subject for a little bit. So I wasn't really able to hang out with her at my place as much, but I would always go to her place where it was just her and her mom and her two cats. But it was still a very comfortable environment there. Her mom was nice. She always made us really good dinner. She got me to try Brussels sprouts, and they were actually really, really good comfort food. But there weren't really that many, I guess, cultural differences within that space. I think both my parents grew up in America already, so they were already, I guess, very Americanized, integrated into the American culture, and I think it was very similar with my girlfriend's mother. She was very also quite Americanized. Nothing too sharply cultural going on in that household. So
For me personally, I have like experiences with lots of like Latina like women. So when it comes to like bringing them like home, like there's one like example where I took like a person I was talking to like home, and I did like kind of notice like in the Hispanic like community, like it's all about family and stuff like that. So I was really excited to bring her because there was like a lot of like similarities that like or made like the experience really good. So even though people were kind of asking like, yo, like, you know, is she like Filipino or like Mexican, like it kind of worked out because, you know, she understood like how families are. So
I definitely agree with that because my current boyfriend his family is from Mexico, and there are just like some similarities in the culture that sometimes are like fun to talk about and like learn about each other. Because it's like, oh, you drink champurrado too? So do I. also were colonized by the Spaniards 100 years ago. So was I. There's like relatable things within the cultures that just, it's easier to, click.
Were there any? I guess not. I was wondering if there were any like odd differences. Like I know with some of my friends, like there's some like basic stuff like when they would try like Filipino food and like they wouldn't know what this is, or they'd be like, "What is that?" Or like this basic stuff like taking your shoes off when you get to the door. It's just interesting. Have any of y'all dated like the same race, like Filipino or whatever?
Like you have authority on that, Christine.
Yeah.
That front.
You do have a monopoly, yeah.
Yes, you do.
I have. I don't know how. I've dated 2 Filipino guys, and it was kind of weird because for me, I was the first Asian they dated, and so it was kind of a thing when like I'd be being the parents, I'd be kind of nervous, and they'd say, "Don't worry, my mom already likes you because you're Filipino." I'm like, I mean, interesting, but I'm like, So it helps for me, but it's just interesting, especially meeting the whole family. Everyone just starts speaking to me and kind of already assumes I understand and speak, which I do, but yeah, it's interesting. I've had 2, not relationships, but like things with non-Asians, but they never worked out. I don't know why. It's only worked out with the Filipinos.
I guess connecting it to you like getting brought to like your boyfriend or like your past like relationships, like family, and then them already saying like they like you type of thing. I can compare that to like one of my like closest friends, like from church, like he's Filipino. And even though like I'm probably not the best influence for my friend, like their family really like me because I can speak like the language and I'm very, very culturally aware. So that's just a funny thing that I guess like culture gives you a pass for some reason. But
For me, I've only dated Asians, but both of them were half white, and like they're Asian.
Asians.
How Asian. The parent that was Asian, they grew up here and they're pretty Americanized, so they had just a pretty like American, Western lifestyle. So when they came over to my house, it was really different for them, and like especially with food, they were really picky, and like they would eat it, but they were like but I was like, okay, I mean it's our culture, but thanks for eating it anyway.
Picky eaters, that's a huge deal breaker. It's a massive breaker.
It actually makes me really upset when like my boyfriend will try like food from my culture and doesn't like it. I don't know, it's kind of
Really, Tony? Tony doesn't?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm surprised.
What food doesn't he like?
He doesn't like a lot of like the fish. Like he doesn't eat a lot of seafood, so
all those people
like
don't
we always
like
have fish at my house. He won't eat like fish stew.
I feel that. I guess going off of Janelle, like I remember like you said like that your significant other's parents are more like Western. Like I do see that like in lots of like Asian and like cultures, like it's very, very like collectivism, right? So it's all for one type of thing. And over here, like in the States, it's more individualistic. So like you just like do your own thing type of thing. Did that ever have like an influence in your like relationships, like within like your parents, like regarding like relationships and stuff with significant others, or did that have no effect?
I feel like for me, because of collectivism, family is like really important to me, and I think that's why my parents' opinions on my significant other like really is important to me, because if they don't like them, then I just don't feel comfortable bringing them to the house, which sucks.
Ooh, I had a thought. So going back to the whole like a lot of traditional Asians, like you have all these traditions with like dating. And so something that's been kind of weird for me is dating apps. If I've like met a guy on like a dating app, I'm very hesitant on telling my mom if I like actually did, because I'm scared of what she'll say and like the way they view it. She just has more of a traditional view, like meet them in person or something. Do y'all have this too?
Okay, I mean,
Go ahead.
I haven't told my parents, like all my boyfriends, I've met them in person in class. And I think if I ever did tell them, I would definitely tell them through like a mutual friend or like in class, because they would be like, why are you on a dating app anyway? They're only on there to hook up. And yeah.
Yeah, similar to that. I don't think my parents like know that me and Tony technically met on a dating app. And I don't think I'm gonna tell them. I feel like they just wouldn't be like, they wouldn't approve of it that much. So I'll just, just a little white lie. We met at a party.
Yeah,
They don't know, it won't hurt them.
I did the same thing as Janelle. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I did the same thing as Janelle. I would just say, "Oh, we met through a mutual friend." Luckily, we did have a mutual friend that we didn't know, but it happened, so it worked out. But yeah, I feel like my mom just has too much of that traditional view from watching like teleserials and stuff, being like, "Meet them in person." I'm like, I can't.
I know, like, Christine, that like you said, your parents are really, really like traditional. Like, did your mom ever say like, for a guy to like court you, like he should play like a guitar outside your window? Wait, you ever hear about that?
Okay, not the guitar outside my window, not
Oh, that's what I
not
heard.
that
That's what I heard. That's
part.
what I had
But
to do. That's why I learned guitar. But
really?
I mean, other reasons too. But that's one of them. But continue what you're saying. Yes, continue what you're saying.
Oh no, that's kind of the thing I wish. I wish I went through the courting phase. I see it all the time on
Courting phase?
TV. I wish. I
I'd be
feel like
playing
no
guitar
guy
for
does it
everyone, bro.
anymore.
Not working.
My mom did question it before. She was so interested with how dating works now. She'd be like, "So does the guy court you, or are you guys just together?" I'm like, I don't really think courting's a thing. We just kind of get together, you know?
Yeah. Do you like? Would you want to experience courting or no? Do you think
Abs-
like
Absolutely. I would
seriously?
love to go through it. The guy just trying to win me over, say less. I love it.
I feel.
Has anyone else's parents talked to you all about courting or asked about that?
My mom has definitely used the word.
Courting. Yeah, that's a Filipino thing. I like Filipino term. I feel like.
I'm not sure if it's like a Korean concept for courting. I've never really heard my parents talk about it, but yeah, no, there was a time actually when my dad and mom actually broke up when they were in school, and I don't know why. My dad probably did something really dumb, but I guess you can call this a type of courting. But he'd like write her letters and like leave her like flowers and gifts. This went on for like 3 months. 3 months. He never. Good for him, because if he did, I wouldn't exist. But I guess that's a type of courting.
Bro, I think like low key social media and like technology has like ruined romance. I don't know about y'all, but that's what I think.
People can make other people like Spotify playlists.
Spotify
That's
dang,
like
that's so
peak
easy,
romance for technology. That's like
That's peak romance. I guess so.
Why do you think that though, LJ, that social media is just like ruining it?
Yo, I'm a really, really traditional person, so I would want to court someone. But like if I show up to their place, they're like, dude, why is this guy in my like snap map like close? I was like, you know what I'm saying?
You
But
simping.
yeah, that's another topic, simping, to talk about. I guess.
I think it's a
Y'all
good
wanna-
thing.
You think
it's a
simping?
good thing.
Yo, a man treating
Depends
a woman
on-
with respect ain't simping. If it's
That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Wait, maybe I have the wrong definition of this word then.
What's your definition of simping then?
Just like when you really like a girl and you do nice things for her.
I guess it's just being a stand-up individual, dog.
That's just being a normal human
A
being.
normal human being.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. We're talking like simps are like a different breed or something right now.
Oh, yikes. Yeah, that is true. Wait, did Tony ever like serenade you and stuff like that, or you didn't go through that?
Yeah, our first
Oh,
His
date.
guitar.
But then there you go. There you go. Good to
Dang,
know.
I feel so single. I feel so single after hearing that.
It was
Dog,
actually
I always
really,
like shoot those
uncomfortable.
3-pointers and never hit the hoop. And I always play music for never mind. Enough about me.
The attempts were there, LJ. The effort was made.
Effort was there.
The
yeah.
effort was made.
It
The
was
effort was
definitely
made.
made.
That's good.
That is true. Oh yikes! This is getting out of the edit. This is cut. Alright. So, any other questions, Christine?
Nope, I think that's all I had.
So as always, I've been LJ, your host. I'm your historian for this year.
I've been Matt, your treasurer for this year.
I'm Christine Angie. I'm your PR marketing co-chair.
I'm Eliza. I'm your secretary.
I'm Janelle, and I'm the other PR marketing co-chair. Don't forget to follow our socials. Our Instagram and TikTok is APAC Ilstu.
Our Facebook is also APAC Ilstu, and our Snapchat is APAC_Ilstu. Thanks for listening.
Peace.